Later, each of you has to buy a bottle of water from me. It's $50 a bottle. You think you can be bold on Gulanyu? I didn't bother with you in the store, but you're still acting tough. Believe me, on this island, I can make sure you can't leave. The shop owners have already warned you. If you don't buy anything, you won't have a place to stay tonight. Worst case, you end up on the street. This is my turf.
The current season marks the peak beauty of China's snow town in Heilongjiang, attracting numerous tourists. However, their journey has been marred by incidents of tourist exploitation. Recently, a blogger named B-Tai and 5 companions visited Snowtown. They split into 2 groups, choosing tour packages priced at 550 yuan and 1,180 yuan respectively. Astonishingly, both groups had the same itinerary, differing only in bus seating. Despite the price disparity, the 550 yuan group was advertised to have the same seats as the 1,180 yuan package, but were switched to a regular bus at the last minute due to a purported lack of seats. Moreover, some travel agencies offered even lower prices, claiming identical tour content to the 550 yuan package for just over 200 yuan. I feel like we've been exploited. There's no difference between the 550 yuan and 1180 yuan tours. We're now embarking on a 2-day group tour to Snowtown from Harbin. We didn't know that we could book Snowtown tours at Central Street, and along the way, we encountered many people promoting their tour groups.
Do you have your itinerary set?
No.
Our agency is the biggest on the Songhua River. Are you here for a tour? Young man, we are from the Kanghui Travel Agency.
And just like that, we were led to their agency. A staff member came out and insisted we add her contact, pushing us to join their tour despite our refusals. So we decided to learn more about the Snowtown tour packages. Moreover, the Snowtown tour packages severely underdelivered on their promised services. Facilities were either unexpectedly broken or the activities were coincidentally unavailable, with a myriad of schemes designed to catch tourists off guard and extract more money. The blogger reported these issues to the local tourism department, which responded on November 23rd, stating that the involved company is suspected of illegal operations and an investigation has been initiated. In an online post, B-Tai questioned how tourists could possibly defend themselves against low-priced tour traps. They criticized the local tourism authorities for not helping tourists identify and combat these schemes, and that ensuring a safe and reliable tourism market is the authorities' responsibility. Unfortunately, such tourist exploitation in Snowtown is not new. In another instance, a blogger named Grey Pigeon shared their experience of being deceived by tour guides and hotels in Snowtown. They were promised all-inclusive services for 298 yuan per person, but were pressured to buy various winter clothing items totaling 2,640 yuan once on the tour. Grey Pigeon was evicted from their hotel in the middle of the night for not purchasing the recommended items. Moreover, the tour guide colluded with local hotels to prevent Grey Pigeon from finding accommodation, leaving them without shelter in temperatures below -20 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the guide threatened the tourists, likening the area to a bandit's lair, where visitors were extorted for protection money. Snowtown, despite its pristine white appearance, harbors a dark heart. Local vendors drastically overcharge for food and lodging, and visitors are charged fees at every turn. Tourists can easily fall into traps, feeling more exploited than entertained. Even local guides admit that Snowtown is known for sharpening the knife for 9 months to fleece tourists for 3. Amidst a whirlwind of public opinion, Snowtown faces a barrage of criticism and has become a target of widespread disapproval. Previously, exorbitant lodging costs in Snowtown have been exposed, with overnight stays reaching thousands of yuan. Tourists have also complained about the high prices within the area, such as a bowl of instant noodles costing 60 yuan, which many find unreasonable. The issue of tourist traps isn't confined to Snowtown. It's prevalent throughout mainland China's tourist destinations. Recently, a blogger's experience in the southern Chinese island of Sanya resonated with netizens. On November 26, the blogger recounted renting a Tesla for 139 yuan, only to be charged an additional 150 yuan for delivery and 150 yuan for insurance. When the rental company staff noticed the blogger filming, they rapidly changed their attitude, offering a refund and warning against posting the video online, threatening consequences. Beyond Snowtown and Sanya, similar practices plague other tourist sites, including Guilin. On November 24th, a tourist visiting Yangshuo Guilin for the first time expressed their disappointment. "I'll never return to Yangshuo. The food is expensive and unpalatable, with few good options. Taxis often refuse to pick up non-locals, and there's a dual pricing system for locals and outsiders. While the scenery is beautiful, the people are not." Many tourists have noted that in Guilin, a scenic destination, the experience is marred by deceptive practices. Tourists pay double the local price for a bowl of rice noodles, and boatmen on the Yulong River demand tips for photos. Under these unwritten rules, a pleasant trip quickly turns into an exercise in appeasement. This summer, a tourist in Yangshuo Guilin was beaten by a raft operator and pushed into the river for challenging these practices. These incidents are just the tip of the iceberg in a range of tourism malpractices. This summer, a shocking incident occurred in Yunnan, further highlighting the extent of these problems. On July 20th, a video filmed on a bus widely circulated online, featuring a tour guide telling tourists, "You must buy something if you follow me, or else you can't continue with the tour. Don't worry, we have items worth thousands, but in limited quantities. I won't make you spend all your savings, rest assured." Issues like breaches of contract in homestays, hotels inflating prices on the spot, and arbitrary charges in scenic areas are rampant. Tour groups frequently engage in tourist exploitation, and travel agencies, blinded by profit, force tourists in their free or low-cost tours to shop in affiliated stores, leading to a tarnished image and a lack of integrity in Chinese tourism. A survey found that in the eyes of respondents, shopping is the area where tourists are most likely to be overcharged, 82.8%, followed by dining, 80.6%, taxi services, 52.7%, and accommodation, 45.8%. The most common methods of exploitation include inflating prices, 80.9%, selling counterfeit or substandard goods, 73.9%, coercive buying and selling, 64%, and taking advantage of tourists by excessively raising prices, 56.8%. The survey also revealed that when faced with exploitation, most respondents could only grin and bear it, 62.7%, while 34.4% would argue on the spot, 30.6% would complain afterwards, and 17.8% would lodge a complaint immediately. Notably, 72.4% of respondents stated they would not return to a tourist spot where they were overcharged. What lies behind the chaos in China's tourism sector? Analysts believe that, firstly, the issue stems from a societal atmosphere of impatience and a profit-centric mentality. Many hope to earn a year's profit in just one tourist season, adopting a one-off business approach, focused solely on immediate financial gains, while disregarding ethics and the law. Secondly, the lack of effective regulation and legal systems is a significant cause of the disorder in tourist areas, leading to frequent instances of exploiting, deceiving, and extorting tourists. Local officials often receive protection fees from businesses. When tourists face exploitation issues and complain to authorities like the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, the Price Bureau, and local consumer associations, regulatory bodies often turn a blind eye. Unless publicly exposed, complaints generally remain unresolved. In the light of the poor tourism environment in China, where exploitation is rampant, are these tourist spots still worth visiting? The pandemic has significantly impacted the tourism industry over 3 years. Entering 2023, in the post-pandemic era, the global tourism industry is rapidly recovering, but China's tourism sector remains in a downturn. According to data from China's National Bureau of Statistics, the number of foreign tourists visiting China is minimal. Between January and June 2023, Beijing recorded only 407,900 inbound tourists, falling short of 11% of its total for the entire year of 2019. In the same time frame, Shanghai saw 1.24 million inbound tourists, merely 13.8% of its 2019 annual figure. After deducting visitors from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, the number of foreign tourists totaled only 756,000. Breaking it down by quarters, in the first quarter of 2023, nationwide travel agencies in China served only 52,000 inbound tourists, a stark contrast to the 3.7 million in the same period in 2019, achieving just 1.4% of the 2019 levels. Taking France as an example, Paris alone welcomed 11.6 million tourists in the first quarter of this year, reaching 97.5% of its tourist volume during the same period in 2019. In other Asian countries, Japan's National Tourism Organization reported that from January to June 2023, about 10.7 million foreigners visited Japan. This compares to 16.6 million in the first half of 2019, marking a recovery to 65% of pre-pandemic levels. Similarly, the Korea Tourism Organization statistics show that during the first half of this year, 4.43 million foreign tourists visited South Korea, recovering 53% of the numbers seen in the same period before the pandemic. In recent months, China has been implementing measures to revive its tourism sector, including resuming international flights and making it easier for foreigners to use mobile payment systems. The visa application process for some countries has also been simplified. However, these efforts have not significantly boosted inbound tourism. On November 24th, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced a trial of a unilateral visa exemption policy for 1 year, starting from December, for citizens of 6 countries: France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, and Malaysia. Citizens of these 6 Eurasian countries holding regular passports can enter China for 15 days without a visa for business, tourism, family visits, and similar activities. Regarding this, the Frankfurt General newspaper reported that China has never before implemented such a visa exemption policy for Europeans. Beijing's current unilateral action is seen as a move of economic desperation, aiming to attract tourists and businessmen to China amidst an economic crisis. Andreas Folda, a professor of sociology at the University of Nottingham and an expert on Europe-China relations, warned of the unseen risks of traveling to China in a social media post on November 24th. He cautioned, as long as Article 38 of the Hong Kong National Security Law is in effect, anyone critical of the CCP can be arrested upon arrival in China. Those who travel to China visa-free in the future are taking a huge risk. Professor Xie Tian of the Aiken School of Business at the University of South Carolina stated, currently, the interest in traveling to China has significantly decreased among citizens worldwide. Moreover, the Chinese Communist Party exhibits numerous restrictions and hostilities towards foreigners and foreign businesses. The implementation of the anti-espionage law has further reduced the desire of foreigners to engage in business in China. Commentator Tang Jingyuan believes the real reason behind the decline in foreign investment and tourists is the CCP's emphasis on politics, putting political security first. Many foreign tourists and entrepreneurs face significant personal and property threats once they arrive in China. Merely improving visa procedures is not enough to make a substantial difference. Experts in overseas tourism have indicated that deteriorating relations between China and the West have deterred foreign tourists from visiting China. Particularly concerning is the revised anti-espionage law by the CCP, effective from July 1st this year, which broadens the interpretation of violations against national security and increases government powers for searches, seizures, and the implementation of personal entry and exit bans. This has caused considerable unease among foreigners. At that time, the US government issued travel advisories, warning Americans to reconsider travel to mainland China due to the risk of arbitrary enforcement of local laws. Su Zijun, a senior analyst at the Taiwan government-funded Institute for National Defense and Security Research, commented, "The CCP is using the threat of external espionage to stoke nationalism and garner public loyalty to the regime." He adds, "The so-called national security should be understood as the political security of the CCP." Taiwanese legislator Wang Tingyu cautioned that Taiwanese should also be aware of this issue, advising against traveling to troubled nations, and noting the increased risk of arbitrary arrests of foreigners in China. A Chinese citizen commented that the primary reason foreigners are reluctant to visit China is that the oppressive system feels akin to North Korea. Wang Dan, a leader of the Tiananmen Square protests, posted on social media on November 27th, sharing encounters with friends who had recently left China. A Western media correspondent in Beijing mentioned the noticeable decrease in foreigners in Beijing and Shanghai, a telling indicator. An entrepreneur spoke of the economic downturn, predicting an impending crisis in public welfare, with potential issues in local government water and electricity supply. Wang Dan expressed his belief that these observations are serious and well thought out, not intended to slander China. In today's China, beyond the tight political control and official corruption, society is marked by moral decline, profit-driven mentality, and an atmosphere of selfishness and short-term gains. High unemployment rates, economic stagnation, coupled with debt and financial crises, indicate that China is on the eve of a significant socio-political upheaval. As Confucius once said, "Do not enter a dangerous country. Do not dwell in a chaotic one."